I am a sellout in a way.
As musicians, do we sacrifice our passion and artistic integrity for money? I had a chat with musical artist DEVMO to discuss the role money plays in our artist endeavors and how we might be sellouts. But what does that even mean? Why do we define this as negative? And could you possibly even do yourself a disservice by not selling out? Do we sacrifice our passion for money?
My answer is yes. I do sacrifice my passion for money, but I don't mind it. Yes and no, because I am a sellout in a way. Like I make music for TV, film, commercials, and I do sound better gigs. And it's not like I want to do all of that, but I'd rather make music for a living than have a 9 to 5 where I do something I'm not passionate about. So it's complicated, it's like if I had the choice, like if I came from like an uber wealthy family, I would just make music I wanted to make. Or if I won the lottery, I should say, I would just make music I wanted to make. I wouldn't probably take these. But being the fact that I do need to make money, I don't mind actually making music for clients and like TV and like selling out, so to speak, to
Can you elaborate on what you mean by selling out? Because I feel like
Right.
that's got such a negative connotation. What is selling out, and how is what you're doing
Yeah.
selling out?
Yeah, I guess selling out is different for different people, but I guess the way that I'm talking about selling out is doing what you don't want to do necessarily to make money, to be successful. But I think like in the original context, it's like, let's say an artist gets signed and a label is like, we want you to make bubblegum pop, but really they're making like punk. That's that's like selling out, So I guess that's technically different, but I call it selling out because I'm literally making music to sell, to make money,
That's so interesting. So, by your definition, then wouldn't it be selling out for a musician to take a job as an accountant? Is that selling out?
Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
say that that's selling out.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
I don't think that there's like
In
a
a bad
bad,
way.
I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily because we all need to make money realistically. It's like, so you can be the person who takes the accounting job, or you can be the person who decides you're going to write music for, commercials or for other artists and, make money that way. I think both of them are technically selling out, but at the same time, it's like if you're making your music that you want to make as well, and you're keeping that like the reason why you started music, if you're still holding on to that in some aspect of your music making career, I think that you're not selling out, that you're still doing it for the right reasons because you're obsessed, because you're passionate, because you can't live without making music.
Yeah, even if it's not exactly your artist direction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever said we had to starve as musicians is an idiot. Is it such a bad thing to do something slightly different, but still musical in order to feed ourselves? I used to believe the starving musician myth, and I had those feelings of being judged as a sellout if I took on some side music gigs. Making money as a demo singer and a custom songwriter is one of my biggest revenue streams today, and I heard about soundbetter.com 3 years before I joined it. For 3 years, I didn't join because I had this limiting belief that if I start making money with my music in a way that wasn't the original plan, have I failed? And one of the things DEVMO mentioned is that no one really cares. And that's true. No one is really judging us, right? But actually, I experienced quite the opposite of judgment once I started succeeding with demo singing. People started asking me like, hey, can you tell me how to do that? Can you tell me how to feed myself? There's this stigma that the industry puts on us, like if you're busking on the street, then you failed. You didn't make it. But no, I disagree. Actually, I'm financially comfortable now.
I think that's the definition of success. Like a definition of a professional, somebody who is like making money from whatever that thing is. And it's like we are, successful in our career and we're professionals because we're making money doing music. That was always the goal. Well, like
Yeah.
Check. Also, so many people had to do those type of things before that, they had their big break. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Lizzo got big because she did sync music. And so one of her songs blew up that was on a TV show and boom, Lizzo is born. And
Yeah.
I heard about Lizzo 5 or 6 years before she was famous because I did a show in Chicago. I opened up for Angel Hayes. And out of curiosity, I was looking at what else who else was playing at the venue. And I was just seeing if there's anyone else I could open up for. And there was a girl named Lizzo who was like hip hop. But I listened to her music and I thought, oh, we're not similar enough. Like maybe that wouldn't
Mm.
work for me. So I didn't even bother reaching out. But I never forgot that I read that girl's name. And so seeing that she got as big as she got was so, it's just such an eye-opening experience because you have this feeling that like, oh, they're industry. You think people are industry plants? That's like the biggest joke. Like, what does that
Mm.
mean? Because
Hmm.
I just am under the impression that like, even if, let's say you came from like a wealthy family that like they're already deeply involved in the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
like someone like Willow Smith, for instance,
Sure.
she still has to like put in lots of work to be where she's at. And if she
Yeah.
wasn't good, she wouldn't be as big as she is. So I just think it's not fair to call anyone an industry plant. I do think that obviously they have an unfair advantage. They have like connections that like
Sure.
us as, people that aren't from famous families, like we
Mm.
don't. But she's fantastic. She's a really talented girl and she works
Yeah.
her ass off. You can tell.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
anyway, I just went off on a rant.
Okay, think about that for a second. Lizzo started out as a sync licensing songwriter. If she didn't write songs for TV and film, the outlet that got her discovered, would we even have the Lizzo we have today? It's a very limiting thought to avoid writing for pay or writing music for television because it's not a deviation from your plan. It's an addition to your plan. You're not getting derailed from your original dream, but rather, this might be the thing that actually helps your dream launch. And Lizzo and many others are proof of that. I noticed that you put music out. Your artist name is DEVMO,
Mhm.
and you put out sync licensing music under that name. But I was wondering, do you ever feel like when you're creating music for sync, like for Nike or whoever, do you feel like you're slightly compromising your authenticity as an artist sometimes to fit the mold of what the client may want?
Yeah, great question. And 100% yes. I mean, I'm bending the character, to fit a brief or fit what's needed in, TV at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I'm okay with it. I mean, as a sync artist, you have the choice of having different pseudonyms, different artist pages you release things
Mm-hmm.
through. And I am probably one of the rare people that doesn't do that. I like everything
Yeah.
that I write and create to at least feature DevMo, if not like come, from DevMo as a main artist. But I do that because you never know what song is gonna randomly blow up and do well. You might not love it. It
Mm.
might be something you wrote for sync that you think is vague and cliche, but it might be the one that blows up. And whether
Yeah.
or not I love it, if people love it, I want them to be able to find me and find all my other music. I've been making music for 10 years. I have so much music. It's crazy.
Mm.
And I just feel like I want to make sure that it goes back to me at the end of the day. People can find me, they can become a fan, they can listen to
Mm.
music. That way, if I tour, they'll come. If I have merch, they'll buy. If I put out new music, they'll get excited. I mean, I still want fans. I still want to do the whole artist thing. And I want it to come back to me because also it's
That's
like
cool.
we deserve it. We did write it.
I've actually done the opposite of what DevMo has done. Instead of keeping everything I do under my own name, I've created different pseudonyms for different genres and even have a moniker I give to clients so they have something to put as a featured artist and not attach my name to their projects. But because I do it this way, even though my voice has over 30 million streams, those streams are all under various monikers or don't credit me at all because I didn't want those songs to interfere with my own artist release plan. I do feel good about keeping the music that goes under my name strictly songs I write. Authenticity as an artist is something I value. But did I maybe shoot myself in the foot and miss out on millions of eyes possibly finding me through these other songs that weren't really mine? I'm still figuring it out. I have a fun question for you. What is your relationship with swear words as a rapper slash sync songwriter?
Really, really good question. I used to cuss all the time. All of my old music, I've said, atrocious words and things, and I've had quite dirty music out there. I've done it all. So anyway, all that to say, I think part of the reason why I rarely swear is because of sync. So I used to have a very niche style of rapping. It was, underground. I feel like I grew up in the era where it was all about shock value. And so a lot of rappers were just saying wild things to like get people's attention. It's like, who could be the most wild, which is why I ever like really just, I don't know. I think there's multiple reasons. There's also something to be said about like me being young and wanting attention and thinking that that was the way to go about it. But I think I went through a shift anyway from like wanting attention and wanting to, be the craziest and the most look at me to, I want to make the best music that I can make. And I think a lot of that was because of sync, and you can't really swear in sync. And if you do, you need to have a clean edit. You can't go into too much detail. You can't like really talk about specific brands. And so once I started mixing my super detailed, X-rated music and sync, now they've kind of come together and made this very like digestible music and sound. And I feel that now, thanks to sync, I actually apply like my music like is more digestible to a wider audience. And I'm just so grateful for that in a way. And I think I've just also grown up, and I don't feel the need to like be like, look at me in that way. I mean, if I want people to look at me, it's like because I've done something worth their attention,
Yeah. We've had a little bit of a conversation about the platform that comes with being an artist. So the fact that you found a way to reach a wider audience, does that also come back to serving your greater purpose? Like, is there something beyond music and just having the life you want that you feel you're meant to do with your platform?
So many things ran through my head when you asked me that. So it's like difficult because there's the selfish part of me that wants to be the pop star, and I want a ton of fans, and I want brand deals, and I want to make a lot of money and be able to travel whenever I want. And it's a very like selfish goal of like, I want it all to come back to me so that I can like live free and take my family and I on vacations. And I mean, yeah, in a way it's selfish,
but wouldn't you want that for other people?
100%. Yeah.
Don't you want me to have that life?
Yes. Yes, I do. I want
So it's not
my
selfish.
friends and my family to have a beautiful life with abundance and peace, like, and that's what I want essentially. But I have thought about like what my bigger purpose is. And I think like, when you have people you're close with that pass away, you start thinking about life in like such a different way. And I think that that's really put a lot of things into perspective for me. And it's like when I go, what do I want to be known for? And like, what have I done to help anybody besides just be like, I'm going to make my music and whether you like it or not, and of course there's like the people that reach out there that are like, I'm so happy you wrote this song, it got me through my mom having cancer or this or that. And those are the best messages ever. And those make you feel good. But my ultimate goal, and I've said this to enough people that like somebody could steal the idea if they want, but that's okay. I hope they do. I hope this helps as many people as possible. But my ultimate goal is when I have a full-blown business and I'm making a lot of money, I want to give artists, like pay for artists who have a year or two off rent, where I just pay the rent for like a year or two, like up and coming artists who are like struggling, trying to make it and really like putting all they have into their craft so that they can save. They don't have to worry about paying their rent for at least a year or two. When I started out, I've always had side jobs, but I was really lucky that whenever I was hurting for money or wasn't able to pay my rent, I have parents that would be willing to help me, And I just am so grateful. And I know a lot of people don't have that. And so I
Hmm.
want to be able to do that for people because it's the way that I feel like I was shown grace while working toward my dreams. And
Yeah.
like, I want to do that for other people at some point.
The more artists I talk to, the more I find there seems to be a connection with being a creative person, being someone who not only creates art, but wants to use it as a means to give to the world, whether it's simply through the songs themselves or through the money we make with our art. Maybe some of the pressure we put on ourselves to succeed in music is related to that desire in us to have more than enough for ourselves so that we can also give to the world. Dev and I talked a bit more about how we handle the pressure and potential burnout that can come with being a high achiever. Do you ever feel like the pressure to perform on a deadline when you're maybe not in the right emotional space for it? Like if you're having a tough day and you get a big opportunity for like a happy soda pop ad or something.
Sometimes I am so late on deadlines because I'll be going through a funk.
Mm.
I actually just got over a funk where I was like getting everything done the very last second. People were kind of getting annoyed with me, and sometimes I'd be late. And I hate when I'm like that because it makes me feel so unprofessional when I actually feel like I'm pretty professional, you know. But I will say there are times that if I am going through a funk and somebody's like, "Hey, we need this. We're gonna pay you this amount, but we need it like today," it kind of gets me out of my funk. Like I'll go to my
Yeah.
computer and like lay it down, and because I'm so focused and I'm so in that zone, by the time I'm done with it, I'm kind of in a better mood. Like, because not only
Ooh.
did I get the one thing done that I needed to get done, but it was like a happy song, right? Or like it just wasn't that serious. It wasn't that deep. So it's like, oh, that's so nice, you know? So it's really, I love music.
I love that. You know what?
Yeah.
I think you just put something into perspective for me too. I totally agree with you. At first, when I get the assignment, I'm like, how am I gonna hold my mood together? But it's like you just press play and you like get into it and then you actually feel better. And it's pretty rad. Music makes us feel better.
It's therapeutic. I think that's
Mm.
why a lot of us start, right?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it helps get you through things. And then all of a sudden it becomes like
Mm-hmm.
work. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I love, and now I love my job. So it's like, it's kind of awesome. No complaints here.
That's good. We're in a
Yeah.
good place right now, but have you
Yeah.
ever felt burnt out by music and had to like completely pump the brakes
Yep.
and like
Hmm.
regroup?
I would say I feel really burnt out with music when I take on a side job. And I actually just stopped working. I was working at a karaoke bar. I was a KJ, they call it, a karaoke DJ. And
Rad.
that was awesome. I loved it. It got me comfortable on stage. It got me comfortable working with people again after like kind of a hiatus from performing. Um, but it was difficult to like wake up every day, try and get as much done, you know, on the writing and recording end, and then go to the karaoke bar and work at night. And it
Mm.
it was 4 days in a row, Monday through Thursday. And so it just kind of got to the point where by Friday of every week, like I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do any work. On Friday, I just kind of was like a couch potato. I was so tired from the week.
Mm.
And now that I'm not doing that anymore, it's just so much better. I'm not as burnt out, you know, but
For
burnout
sure.
is very real and you have to like make sure you take time for yourself, whether that be to like work out, to see your friends, see your family. But the number one thing that nobody, like, I have to schedule this in. You have to schedule in time for yourself, like time to do nothing, nothing time.
I don't
Schedule
know
in
how that
nothing
does
time.
not compute. How do I do nothing?
Right. Well, you know what I mean? Just like watching a show, nothing, you know, but
Mm.
like
Real
scheduling
estate
time to
TV.
like have nothing that you have to do, you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it's something I super struggle with. I feel like I'm a productivity monster and
Yes, you are, girl.
ay, ay, ay. It's like a drug. I love being productive.
I completely get it. It
Mm.
does feel really good. And I feel like that's why people like you and myself do well because we're like, I'm obsessed with checking things off my checklist. Every time I do it, I'm like,
Dopamine.
dopamine, ding, ding,
Woo!
ding. But at a certain time at night, like 8, I'm like, okay, phone, plug it in, put it over there, watch a show, listen to a
Yeah.
podcast, read a book, like just
Clock out.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to emerging artists who are possibly struggling with the choice between commercial success and sticking true to their artistic roots?
Do both. Plain and
Do
simple.
both, baby.
Do both. That's what I do. I make music for myself. I cut out time to just be like dev and whatever, be crazy. And then my 9 to 5 is like writing music for other people. So do
Mhm.
both. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me.
I couldn't agree more with this. Do both. Make your money on the way to the top. Getting paid for your music in a way that is not the big dream goal does not mean you've failed to get to your goal. It is not a bad idea. It's a smart idea. It will afford you to fund your artist project, your album, or whatever you're working towards. And you never know where you will get discovered. I've been hired to work with major labels through Sound Better and these other gigging websites. I got my first 2 million streamed song by collaborating with a guy who bought one of my $30 acapella licenses. So it's not entirely just about the money. It's about putting yourself out there in unexpected places where more opportunities have the ability to find you at all. You mentioned, you really want to be a star, you want a tour, you want a Grammy. What
Yeah.
is it about winning a Grammy that means so much to you?
I'll start off by saying that I'm a Leo. And so I think that's an important factor in this because I don't know. I mean, you take astrology with a grain of salt, but I do feel like the part about being a Leo that rings true for me is that we are very much like you can find us on the stage. We like to be the center of attention. We like to be praised. I mean, this is all like very real. Sometimes I want promo more than I want cash. I want like the recognition and the praise more than I want cash. I'm not saying, I mean, listen, I need the money, so it's not like that, but
We'll take the
money
cash too,
money
baby.
isn't enough. Like I
Yeah.
need to also feel like I was like appreciated. I was important in this,
Mm,
whatever it is. Even if I wrote a song for somebody else, it's like I want the Grammy for that or whatever it is for that. Or I don't know. I just have a thing about needing to be appreciated and needing to be um
hmm
praised for my work. And I think the Grammy is the ultimate
mm,
validity, it like
yeah.
validates you. It's ultimate validation is getting that
Yeah.
Grammy and being like, yes, I didn't just put in hours and hours and hours and years of my life
Yeah.
just to be like, oh, cool. So I have a savings account and I have a house. Like
Yeah.
I could
I mean,
have
if
been an
that's all we
accountant
wanted,
and gotten a savings account and a house. Like I
exactly.
want to be praised. I want Billboard records. I want like
hmm
something to show for this hard work because it takes
hmm
a lot for you to be brave enough to really do music,
Yeah. We
you
really
know?
put ourselves out there and we're very vulnerable. At the end of the day, we all just want mom to watch us jump in the pool. Like,
Yeah,
mommy, watch me jump in the pool.
right.
Because, and I think it all comes down to like wanting to feel loved. And like we all,
Mm,
at the end of the day, we all want love to quote
that's
Rihanna.
so
Like
true.
that's all we want. And
That's like an interesting, you know what? You got me thinking, girl.
mhm,
And I mean, obviously I want to be loved, but I always go back to like nobody really cares because it's not really for anyone else. It's like I want the praise for me because I love me and I know how much time I've put in. I know how much effort and I deserve a fucking Grammy. Maybe
yes,
not
you
now,
do.
but within the next 5 years, I feel like I deserve one or whatever, however long
Yeah.
it'll take. But before I die, it's just
Yeah.
it's like, yes, I want the love, but it's like deeper for me. Like
Yeah. It's our Super Bowl. We want the
it
trophy.
is, it is. We got to go to the
Yeah.
Grammys very
It's
soon.
also it's also my favorite fuck you to everybody who didn't believe in me.
There's that
You know.
too. Yeah, definitely.
Um,
You know what? I need to sit and process and figure out why is the Grammy so important to me? I mean, it is because it's like society tells you if you do music, that's the thing.
yeah.
So when you take that aspect out of it, it's like, okay, well, it really doesn't matter that much.
hmm
But like for some reason, I just really like to me, it'll be like the ultimate validation. That's really what it is. It's
Yeah.
like, yep, you are good at this. You did put all your time and effort into it, and we all recognize that. And good for you.
It would kind of lessen any of the little sprinkles of imposter syndrome that we probably all have, no matter how
Right.
confident we come off, it would just be
Yeah.
like, okay, I always thought I was awesome, but this proves it. Like, look, shiny thing.
Right.
I was right.
Exactly.
I'm awesome.
And I think the key word in that sentence was lessen the imposter syndrome because it is crazy how like even the people at the tippy top like still don't think they're good enough or like
Mm,
worthy. You know, we all have the imposter syndrome. It's
I'm sure Rihanna deals with it too. So,
I can't imagine that
can
though.
you
That's
imagine? Oh,
crazy. No.
that's a big stage to be on. So,
Yeah. I don't even think I want that type of fame. I think that's like too much. It's like a
mm.
little scary. I just want enough where I can be signed and tour and have fans everywhere and be on the radio. I guess that's kind of that kind of fame, but
Then you won't have to deal because it seems like if you don't go that big, then you probably won't have to deal with that selling out shit of like your label telling you, how to adjust yourself to
mm,
be more commercial pop. And
right.
even though we do a little bit of that in sync, it's such a bigger scale. Like, look at how different some artists even look in appearance from like before they were famous to after. Like, it's pretty incredible what happens when that major fame comes in
Yeah,
and they
that's
get
true.
molded.
I really want to be I think the number one thing is a financial goal of just wanting to make sure I always feel like I'm safe and I'm okay and I have money if I need it. And I would like to buy
Yeah.
a house and like to just like have that safety. And I think that's the number one goal, like
Yeah.
baseline. And then everything above that is really just bonus points at the end of the day. And I get to do what I
Mhm.
love for a living. So honestly, I already fucking won the Grammy.
We already won. We
Yeah.
so already won.
Yeah.
But life's not about the end of the story. It's about the story itself. And so,
Mm.
it's probably actually kind of cool that you don't have a Grammy yet because it's something that you get to continue pursuing, you know?
Yeah. Big facts. Yeah.
I wonder, I've heard like Taylor Swift was asked about how how it feels to like peak so young and like it's kind of got to be gnarly when like your biggest dream is accomplished already. Like
Right.
what next? But I think
Right.
at least with music, it's like it's the writing of the songs because even though you get the Grammy, you still get up every day and be creative and make new things and
That's
create new
exactly
stuff all the
right.
time. I feel like we'll never be bored, right?
No, it's like the best feeling in the world. When you write
Hmm.
a song that you're like, I don't even care if anyone else likes this. I'm obsessed with
Yeah,
this. That is the best feeling in the world, you know?
totally.
Yeah. And you
Awesome.
listen to your own shit over and over and over because you're like, this song slaps.
I can't wait to celebrate your Grammy with you.
Phew, I can't wait to celebrate yours with you.
Okay, let's get
Don't
twinsies
give up
then.
on it. It's
Oh, I'm
happening.
not. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm trying to be coy about it, but just in case it
Right.
doesn't happen. But I really would like to make that happen.
I get it. I think I'm ballsy for just being like, I want it. But you know
No,
what? I
we're
don't
getting
care
it.
because it is happening. So
Very
one
good.
day, even if I'm 90 and they're like, all right, just give her one. Like, this is embarrassing. I'd be like, finally. I'm like, yes.
That'll be your 20th Grammy.
Oh my
And
God, that will be
that'll
so
be really fun to see
funny. I
you
can't wait to
winning a
be a
Grammy.
90-year-old rapper.
Like, why not?
Why
Take
not?
a 20-year hiatus and then come back and
How old do you think I am?
you're not anywhere near 90, so stop. All
I'm
right. Well,
70. All right,
okay.
love. Well, great talking to you, and
Yeah.
we will talk soon, of course.
So, what do you think? Are we sellouts? Is making money with music doing a disservice to our artistic expression? Or are we actually the smarter ones? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this discussion in the comments below. Here are my key takeaways for you. You have options when it comes to remaining authentic to who you are as an artist and making music that might not fit who you are, but we'll pay you. You can always write under a pseudonym, or you can just bend your artist identity a little bit, but not too much. Paid gigs might seem like they'll derail your artist direction, but it actually could be one of those paid gigs that blows you up as an artist, Lizzo being our prime example today. When asked the question, do you choose passion or money? Think about how you can actually have both and how you can make that work. Adaptability. Adaptability is a strength. It doesn't compromise who you are. It helps you build on who you are. Money you make taking on other revenue streams can help you fund your original dream. The landscape of music and money is not so black and white. It can be confusing, especially when creativity, vulnerability, and emotions are involved as artists. But it's called the music business. It's called a music career because it's the thing that pays for your lifestyle. So please do not lose sight of your right to feed yourself and be creative at the same time. If you want to learn more about the various ways you could be earning money as a singer, there are some resources for you in the description below, and I think you'll like this video next. See you soon.